Hello there, beautiful people. Martin Pavey here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about going a little bit kamikaze. But before we do that, please do like and subscribe and share to spread this very important message. Let's face it. If you're watching this video, you've already been through some serious stuff in life. Stuff that you're trying to make sense of and just come to terms with. There's so much weight that's been placed down on our shoulders that we need to process, our way through this stuff. And when you finally start to get clarity and start to really wake up and realize governments don't give a shit about you, people who work in your healthcare systems don't actually want you well, and all of the institutions that you used to put your faith in, school and all the university, all these different places, once you realize that these people, not only do they not give a flying fuck about you, that actually a lot of them don't even know who you are as a person. They don't even know you. You're a number to them, which is why it's so important to actually start giving a damn about yourself, because nobody else will like you will, nor should they. They are their responsibility. You are your responsibility. And if you want to be a man of purpose, then you have to start figuring out ways of bolstering yourself. And I will actually admit, I've just been watching an episode of a fantastic British drama series. It's called Midsummer Murders. And it's got Barnaby and Troy, the original team, just the best one. They changed the cast around and the original people all left. But the original series are brilliant. And there's just been a scene where a lady is brought in for questioning in regards to the death of her husband. And it's deemed that his death is suspicious. And she's refused to answer any questions. And she's basically saying, I'm not going to speak to you. I'm not going to answer any questions until my lawyer is present. As she's entitled to do, Always remember that. The entitlements, always stand up for yourself. And she's been put in the police cell. And when I watch this scene, there's always this sort of bleak moment where somebody's put into a cell and they're locked away. And part of that fear is being enclosed, not being able to escape. But I actually think the wider fear that people have that's much more significant is that when you're in that cell, you are deprived of all of the distractions. There's nothing to do except sit in that cell. And you can imagine what that will do to your mind, that all that you have for company are the thoughts in your mind, just circulating, going mad. And the reason that people don't want to sit down and actually ask the question of themselves, what do I want out of life? What has happened to me that I'm not dealing with? When you're left alone with all those thoughts, it can be unbelievably overwhelming, and it can leave you in a sort of futile position that what am I going to do? How do I sort whatever situation you're in? How do you sort it out? How do you make sense of it? How do you make progress? And when you finally come to a clearing in the forest and you think that you've found, you've stumbled upon a particular path and something has been presented to you because you are open and you are brave and you are capable. All of these things are true, but it can be very difficult to deal with them. And once you start sort of exploring this whole new world, the real danger, I have to say, and I've experienced this many times along the way of going through all manner of different business opportunities and masterminds, and being creative in this direction and being creative in that direction, that when you get into conversations with people, and this is the kamikaze bit, it can be very, very easy for everything to just kind of spew out all at once, and for you to be angry and confused and confrontational. This is always the worry that you will burn bridges unnecessarily. And what I'm experimenting with is, when you encounter new people, whether it's online or offline, one of the best ways because I mentioned in my video yesterday, and I've probably mentioned this many times, you can be right or you can be happy, okay? And when we use the term right, that means always being rigidly attached to your current thinking. And it means that being able to listen to other people is very, very difficult. But listen to them, you must. Because in listening to other people, you actually learn a great deal about them, but also about yourself. I work with an absolutely unbelievable therapist. He's so fantastic, and I love meeting with him every single week. It's so uplifting and so enlightening. And one of the things that I particularly love about him is how steady he is. Nothing riles him. Nothing takes him off his perch. He's really consistent, and I find it incredibly calming to be around him, to be able to talk with him. And he offers fantastic advice because he listens so attentively. And it's funny now that having experienced that with somebody who genuinely cares about people, which he does, when I watch sort of interviews or podcasts now, it's so interesting to see that the podcasters of this world, you can see it to varying degrees just how much they're vying for supremacy in the conversation. So, oh yeah, that happened to me, but what happened to me was like so much worse, and it's like this, and then they're sort of laughing at other people, things that the other person in the interview is saying. And it's very, very off-putting, the idea that I would be doing that, myself with other people, and I have done it. But the truth is that whatever you're experiencing now, whether it's good or bad, is based entirely on how well you, or how badly you deal with the conditioning. It's so dangerous, frankly, to leave any traumas in your life, long-term traumas that you're still agonizing over, to leave them unquestioned. Because they will always, you think you could just brush them under a carpet, and you really can't. They will come out in one way or another. And the beautiful thing about working with my therapist is that the more that we delve down deeper, because in my first book I said to understand, to go further, you have to go deeper. And to make progress, you have to address the underlying causes of whatever behavior you manifest in the world. And so if you leave all of the things that are troubling you unquestioned, they will come out in all manner of other ways: addiction, or physical self-harm, or burning bridges with people that you don't need to. And of course, when you start to address the relationships in your life and the dynamics that you've actually allowed to happen, what you will find is that people from your life, old people from your life, will probably vanish, and you'll leave room for the people that you're meant to be with. And this is why I'm a total advocate for therapy, because literally all it is sitting down and having a chat with somebody. It's just a slightly more formal arrangement where you pay somebody. But if you can find a good one, and this is why I know in the videos that I've recorded so far, I imagine that there'll be a lot of different sort of messages, and I'll probably seem a little bit all over the place, but this is what's necessary. You have to embrace the mess of everything that comes up for you, because it's going to come up one way or another, and you might as well address it in a healthy way with somebody that cares about you and wants you to do better in your life, which is why I'm recording these videos and making myself available for such things in your life that you're struggling with, because you can get cabin fever just trying to sort it out yourself, because it's very difficult at times to be objective about yourself. And you always notice that people who are incredibly successful, they will always have had some kind of mentor or counselor or therapist or agent, whoever it is, somebody who's been walking alongside them throughout the journey. You will always find that. So whenever you encounter people, whatever way you can figure out, take a few deep breaths, and without wanting to pass judgment or make comment, just listen to people, because you will learn an absolute treasure trove about life just by listening to other people. And the really inspiring thing, actually very inspirational thing, that I experience with my therapist is that when I'm talking, he's not nodding all of the time, occasional sort of thumbs up, with eureka moments or deep insights. But he's not doing the yes, and he's not doing all of this. Still. And people are afraid. It's why I mentioned the example of the prison cell. People are actually afraid of stillness. Because in that stillness, and you and I know this, in that stillness will come up all of the things that are just circulating around your mind all the time. They will bubble up to the surface, and having no place to hide from those things is a very, very frightening thing, because you can feel like you're a completely crazy person with all of these people's names in your head and experiences and jobs that you've had and all these different things that you've done. It all comes up in those spaces of silence, true silence. But the key is remembering that you are not your ego. The ego who always needs to be right. What you actually are, your true self. This is really, really important, so listen. Your true self is the witness who observes, who does not judge, who does not need to justify, who does not need to pass judgment, but just listens and considers, and from there you can form your own opinion. Don't bother to judge other people. It won't make the blindest bit of difference. They're going to behave in the way that they will behave anyway. And that is one of the most enormous examples of ego death for most people. I have done it so many times in my past, of trying to convince people of things and it doesn't work. It honestly doesn't work. Do not waste your time. You're perfectly entitled to stand up for yourself, and however people behave towards you, you're perfectly welcome to observe and just point out facts of, of how conversations are going. But don't bother trying to change people. Do not bother. You either stay or you walk away. Those are your options. And in a world where we have social media, right? And we have access to literally hundreds of millions of people, or even billions of people on various platforms, there's absolutely no need to live in a lack mentality thinking, I have got to convince this one person. No, you don't. Engage with people, listen to them, meet people in different places on and offline, share what you believe, and it's okay to say what you believe and then change your mind, because the people that matter in your life, they will not care that you've changed your mind. They will care that you are searching and abiding by the truth. That is what counts. And when you listen to people's perspective, it can be really refreshing, and it's exciting, it's adventurous, it makes you an adventurous person to actually genuinely listen to people and not plant seeds necessarily in their minds, but just to understand, oh, okay, so that's why that person believes X, Y, Z. I can probably use that. I can probably learn from that, and I can probably help to formulate solutions if people want them, And so putting yourself out there means putting out not the need to control other people. Putting yourself out there means putting yourself out there to listen. And that will shift your life in ways that you can't possibly imagine. Because through listening and genuinely listening to people, being interested, because to be interested is to be interesting to other people, and to be able to have great conversations, you get to live in a world of peace and joy, rather than stress and anger by trying to change people. Because the natural state of life is abundant, and it's joyful, and it's beautiful. And people have, I witness a lot of people who have forgotten this, but that's their business. You are perfectly entitled to walk away, and you're perfectly entitled to stay, whatever it is that you want to do. But make sure that you're living in a way that's going to create opportunities and create connections, because that's what we're really meant to do. It's called social media. When you meet people in public, would you want to be angry with people? No, I don't think you do. If there are people who are stepping onto your turf, then you are perfectly entitled to tell them so. But always go into conversations assuming that people are conditioned, and that there are very good reasons for their behaviour, rather than just creating another person in the world with whom you've had animosity or anger. Don't bother doing it. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy in the beginning. But life gets so much better when you actually allow yourself to interact human to human, rather than belief system to belief system. Because everybody has their belief systems, and they cling to them for security. So always understand that. And again, I've said this before, people are all fighting their own personal battles. And they're doing that most of the day, most of the week and the month and the years. So understanding and forgiveness, wherever you can do it, are so much better than that horrible feeling of severing ties unnecessarily. So thank you very much for listening. Live in joy, live in peace, listen and learn from people. And if you enjoyed this, then please do like and subscribe and share to spread this incredibly important message. I believe this is really, really important, because when you can't speak with people, then that is war. War is just people not being able to communicate, but on a massive scale. That's all it is. And that might sound really patronizing, it might sound flimsy, but it's true. If people can sit down and talk, then good things always come out of that. So thank you very much for listening. God bless, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao for now.